Yeah.
But what I'm curious to see what comes out of this investigation. I don't know for sure it's going to happen, right? But I have to look at everything in its totality. So I think it was about what, a year ago, almost 2 years ago, Maverick Carter was doing illegal gambling with the bookie using LeBron, right? Betting again, I guess betting on LeBron based on whatever news comes out, right?
Yeah.
And the story at that time was LeBron had no idea.
Right.
Okay. Now we hear his name come up again with Damon Jones doing something that's eerily similar to what Maverick Carter was doing.
Yeah.
And the story that's coming out once again is okay, well, LeBron had no idea.
Hmm.
Chauncey Billups is walking out of a courthouse wearing a Clutch sports sweater. So now I have to look at it and say,
Good eye right there, man. That's good investigation skills right there.
so now I have to look at this and say, okay, this idea he has no idea of what's going on can't it can't hold weight in a court of law. There has to be some level of knowledge of what these guys are doing. Like you literally have business partnerships with Maverick. Damon Jones is a right-hand man of his in terms of the NBA. Got him an assistant coaching job when he was with the Cavs. He works in an unofficial capacity with the Lakers. Like, there's no way they're doing this stuff and you just have no idea. You're just this guy who's just so tunnel vision on basketball, you don't know anything about the world around you. I don't buy that.
Right.
So I do wonder what is the role, if there is any role that Clutch Sports plays, and if Chauncey Billups is kind of wearing that sweater not because it's a comfortable sweater, but rather because if you guys don't get me some help to get me out of this, I'm telling everything. If it's a
Right.
veiled threat, I wonder.
That'll be interesting that if that's like his like notion of like help, and like, hey guys, it's these look at these guys, look at Clutch, maybe. I don't know. I'm here, but like, what am I wearing today?
Yeah,
While I
like,
get arrested, or wait, well, all these paparazzis and everyone's looking at me. That'd be quite interesting. But I also found it interesting on that season opener, LeBron, the way he was just he seemed nervous, right? He wouldn't smile, wouldn't clap, wouldn't do anything. It's almost like the notion of something's coming, and he knew. He just hopes that they don't notice and they don't notice his involvement.
and it makes me wonder too because all off season we saw the guy golfing. He was shooting hoops with Kai Cenat, and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, I have sciatica, I can't play.
Yeah,
So some people might look at it and it's fair for them to say that, hey, the reason why he's sitting out is because maybe he's trying to send a message to the Lakers. But I really also too think it's like, yo, if I don't get on the court, I don't have to answer questions about
100%.
either
Yeah.
what's come out or what's going to come.
Hmm.
And he's kind of dealing with that, trying to put out fires behind the scenes.
All right.
Because I do think there's a lot of fires that he's putting out behind the scenes that maybe we don't even realize or see, but sometimes you can you can kind of pick up the little crumbs that are being put out.
Yeah.
All of a sudden in interviews he's talking about, being a husband and
Hmm.
how much he loves his wife. He doesn't want to be alone. Pretty convenient to say when Drake has always been hinting at certain things that might be coming out,
Very much so. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
And
So
it's funny enough. You mentioned Stephen A. Smith, and it seems like Stephen A. is back on his "I Hate LeBron" tour with the sleeveless shirts this time. Now he's in the gym.
you know, okay, so what do you make of Stephen A. Smith doing all of these shows?
Uh, he's trying to push a brand. He's trying to push a product. Uh, he's almost doing like the press run component of just like trying to ensure that he stays relevant in the media landscape. That's how I kind of view it. Using LeBron's name, getting a lot of these clips of him saying what he's saying, it helps him stay relevant. Because again, I don't see First Take as a product that's growing per se. I know it's on a big network like ESPN, but I think he's almost bigger than it now, right? And this is why he's more so doing things as an individual, as a brand. He has his own podcast. Uh, he could probably generate more revenue um, down this avenue rather than him just being a worker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I think he's kind of gone to a point where I think even he believes that he's bigger than ESPN. But I have a slightly different thing because a lot of people think that, oh, Stephen A. Smith is clout chasing LeBron and
Mm,
it's kind of a press run to talk about him. I don't think that's what's going on, to be honest. I think it's a little bit, I don't want to say sinister, but it's a little bit more strategic than
yeah.
people think. I personally believe LeBron, one of the biggest mistake, if not the biggest mistake he has ever made in his professional career, was making an enemy out of Stephen A. Smith, to be honest.
Mm,
Because one thing I'll say is in life, you're going to make friends and you're going to make enemies, but you
mm,
don't want to go out of your way to make enemies. And even when you're going to have enemies, you got to pick your enemies wisely. Choose your friends wisely, but you got to be even more wise when picking your enemies. And I think he kind of overplayed his hand by starting a problem with a guy like Stephen A. Smith because ultimately, in the end, the pen beats the sword every time,
mm,
right? So Stephen A. Smith is the guy with the pen. He is the journalist in this. So he can go on YouTube. He can go on national television. He can do nighttime talk shows. He can do daytime talk shows. He can go on radio. He can go on damn near every medium in the world.
mm,
And he can push whatever narrative about LeBron that he wants. And because it's Stephen A. Smith, he's built that credibility that people will take it seriously. So if there was to ever be a scandal, see, the thing is, LeBron's kind of on thin ice in a way because he is a public relations, like he is being backed by a public relation machine.
mm,
All it takes is one misstep for him, and everyone's perception and image of him will change. It's like he can't even afford now to have any negative thing come out about him because all it takes is for one thing to come out, and Stephen A. Smith, if he wants, he can amplify that message and really tarnish this guy's name and legacy. And there's no reason for him to run cover for you because you embarrassed him at an arena in front of his friends for the world to see. And it was
yeah.
captured on camera.
Yeah.
There's no way a guy like Stephen A. Smith is going to take that lightly.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look good, right? And having a guy like Stephen A. Smith and all the things that he's been hinting at uh, on these press runs, and having a guy like Drake doing the same thing with the Fighting Irish freestyle and everything he's hinted at as well, it puts LeBron in a very interesting position, and it's quite interesting when you touch upon him kind of staying low, sitting out with the sciatica injury all of a sudden. Because again, if he's playing to start the season, you know what the conversation is going to be. You know the questions are going to be asked. You know there's gonna be a lot of tension there, especially if he's having good games or bad games. He's gonna be brought up in the as a topic of discussion. Um, so it is his best to have Luca scoring 50 point. I mean, scoring 40 points, and Austin Reeves scoring 40 and 50 points as well. Because again, it takes the conversation off him. He's just there. He's sitting in the background, getting healthy. There's no discussion about him. Meanwhile, all his enemies are hinting at things that could ruin his public image.
It's true. And I think it's really not Stephen A. Smith's fault. I'm not glazing the guy, so I don't want people saying, oh, you're glazing Stephen A. Smith. It's not, it's none of that going on here. I criticize him a lot on this platform. But when I look at the genesis of their issue, really it starts after the 2011 finals. I remember Stephen A. Smith was going on First Take. Like Skip Bayless would regularly bring him on as like a regular guest before he became the full-time guest in 2012.
Hmm.
And I remember he destroyed him, saying that you came up smaller than mini me and you wet the bed and you don't belong in any conversation. You don't belong to be called a king. You should never win another MVP award until you get it done in the playoffs. Like he went in on the guy. Pause, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And ever since then, LeBron has always taken it personal. All of a sudden, wouldn't give him any interviews, wouldn't show him any respect, would play little politics behind the scenes, which is what Stephen A. Smith was kind of hinting at on Melo's podcast, that he was trying to go behind the scenes and get him fired because he thought Stephen A. Smith at that time, obviously, he wasn't what he is now. He thought he's someone that he could have the pull to get rid of. But ESPN looked at it and said, wait, this guy brings in a lot of ratings. And then his profile just kept growing and growing and growing to the point now
Hmm.
where these guys are titans of their industry, so to speak.
Yeah.
But the difference is you don't really age out of the media.
Hmm.
Whether you're 35 or you're 85, you can still have longevity in the media.
Hmm.
But when you're an athlete, your time at the top is very limited.
100%.
And we already see he's on his way out. Like in the past 3 weeks, I've saw more negative articles about LeBron in that span than I've ever seen in his career. And if you notice, so they had that Westbrook story that came out, that Westbrook thought he was fake. Then you have Stephen A. Smith going out there saying, I think LeBron is fake.
Hmm.
I think all of this, and I think it's very calculated. Why are they specifically pushing the narrative that LeBron is fake? It's because when all of the other stuff potentially comes out, it's the seed's already been planted. Hey, the guy's fake. So I've been on the record saying on the show, I think there's one day going to be a PED scandal on the guy.
Hmm.
That means everything he's done professionally is fake. If what Drake is hinting at about the stuff that he's doing behind the scenes against Savannah,
Hmm.
well, hey, that whole Family Guy image, well, that's fake.
Yeah.
So right now they're just starting on a professional level. Like, hey, the guy he's fake, he's phony, just to plant those seeds. And if these other stories come out, then people are going to rethink his entire legacy and say, wait a minute, this guy's whole career and image is just a fabrication. There's nothing real about him.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what kind of stuff comes out.
Yeah. 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 I agree. I mean, it's unfortunate that this is the topic of conversation in the NBA sphere because again, there's a lot of great basketball that is being played. Like Wemby, he's playing out of his mind. What he's doing on the court, Shea, um, continuing his dominance on the floor as well. Huge win against Houston in the double overtime game, and he continues to carry this OKC team with Jalen Williams out. So that's a good thing. The production of NBA is in a good place. The level of play is at a high level still. Um, but the only thing I feel like that's lacking outside of these scandals is actual NBA storylines. I would say that like, there's not really anything to hold on to in terms of like I'm looking forward to this matchup or I'm looking forward to this team making a run or this dark horse team or whatever the case may be. Um, there's not anything that's really drawing a lot of attention. Like if I was a writer right now for the NBA, I would feel like outside of the scandal, there's really not much to really talk about.
Yeah, and I think this is kind of a wake-up call for the league to they kind of did it to themselves in a way because they wanted to become a narrative storyline driven league.
Hmm.
And I get it. You know, storytelling isn't everything, but at the same time they shifted it away from conversations about what happens on the court to all of the other stuff, right?
Yeah.
I think now is a good time for them to at least go back to the basics and just actually cover the game.
Hmm.
Like right now, well, Luka Doncic, the guy was playing out of his mind.
Hmm.
Austin Reeves has really stepped up
Yeah.
and shown that he could be a leader on a team. Finding these stories where it can be about the guys who are actually stepping up and putting in the work.
Hmm.
Wembanyama, you're right, like he's playing out of his mind. And if you look at it during the offseason, was he in Japan or was he in
Yeah, I think he was in China. He was doing
China? Yeah, I
some
know
monk
he,
stuff. Yeah,
yeah,
some spiritual stuff. Yeah.
but like trying to uncover that, like, hey, when you were doing that, how do you think that helped you kind of with your play on the court?
Yeah.
And maybe you can tell a story about that level of discipline and dedication
Mhm. Yeah.
because
Maybe it's coming, right? With some upcoming national television games when they have that Malika Andrews and Victor Wembanyama sit down conversation. Maybe they will touch upon it in due time. Maybe it's just a tough time in the NBA. It is usually tough in the start of the season going against the NFL. They still have the World Series going on right now as well. It is kind of tough to garner the attention with so much sport going on right now, and this is kind of why they introduced the NBA Cup. But who knows when that like? There's no excitement in terms of the NBA Cup. Like we know it starts eventually, right? In terms of like this counts as an NBA Cup game or NBA Cup group stage game, whatever the case may be, and then you play everyone within that group once or twice, and then you make it on to the next level. Then there's a NBA Cup. All of a sudden, someone wins that trophy, and it's very forgettable, right? After it happens, it's rewarded. A month after that, like no one's talking about NBA Cup. You know what I mean? Who won the NBA Cup, especially at the end of the NBA season, right? Like I don't know why they don't do a thing where it's like the NBA Cup winner plays the NBA champion, right, to start the season, and then there's some like community shield component to starting the season to amp it up a little bit more because I know that's how they do it in soccer, right? It's like whoever wins the League Cup and whoever wins the championship, the first game is usually like an exhibition cup game against with those two teams, and they fight for a trophy, right, to start the season. But there's none of that. That's why it's like the NBA Cup, yeah, some extra dollars, a trophy, but outside of that, there's nothing. There's no more to it. There's no advantage to really winning that NBA Cup, right?
I think some rough times are ahead
Yeah.
for the NBA. I think it's going to get very difficult. They've been very fortunate for the past, I want to say maybe 40 years,
Hmm.
to have
Yeah. The
the
guys that have
level.
come through the league. Yeah.
Yeah, and like literally in such quick succession, generation after generation was happening. And
Hmm.
then it almost seemed like they had it with even a new crop of stars like the Zion Williamsons and the
Hmm.
John Morants. There was always something off the court, right? Back to what we are
Hmm.
saying, those vices off the
Yeah.
court that ended up, I guess, not really making them able to be the stars that could carry that mantle.
Hmm.
I think, yeah, the NBA just needs to go back to just putting a good product on the floor
Hmm.
and just becoming a great league again and just playing great entertaining basketball, and these things will sort itself out. But that's going to be tough to do with a lot of the noise that's coming out of the league right now.
100%. And it again, it's coming from the OGs that are just hanging around the league at the end of the day. That's
And
another thing. It's the
that's why
old guys that are just can't leave. They're just hanging around, bored. I can still play ball, make 26 mil, make some more just gambling, da 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 da.
they
You know what I
need to
mean? And not
leave,
giving
bro.
opportunities to the young players out there that are desperate and hungry to get onto that court, right?
Yeah, because I'm even looking at the situation going on in Philly, and right now, Tyrese Maxey and the other gentleman, his name slips me right now, but he's playing
Uh, VJ Edgecombe.
Hedgecomb, yes.
Yeah,
They're playing out of their minds.
yeah.
Like they look like a great tandem.
Hmm.
But you have Paul George and
And
Joel
Embiid.
right there.
Yeah,
But it's like
yeah.
you guys are not even the standouts. Joel Embiid is kind of like a in-betweener. He's between that generation and this new generation.
Hmm.
So he's gonna have to decide, do you want to be a guy who can actually contribute in making the league great, or do you want to go be like the guys that need to just kind of get away? Because
Embiid is close to being a Clint Capella just
and
now.
and that's the thing. So it's like you have to decide where you want to be. But and I said this on a previous episode, I'll reiterate it here. LeBron, KD, Kawhi, I'll throw Paul George in there.
Hmm.
These guys need to go. James Harden, I actually like him because at least he's available.
Yeah.
Like we could say what he wants about like, he forces his way out of teams, whatever the case may be, but we never question his availability.
Hmm.
So I give him a pass for that, but some of these other guys, like the ones I just mentioned, like, yeah, they gotta go. Like you're not gonna
Yeah.
contribute to making the game better and pushing the game forward, then just leave.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I wholeheartedly agree because you could see it, right? We have these blooming stars, but the topic of conversation always gets back to what's KD doing, what's LeBron doing, or PG, this, that. There's these OGs that like they're quite irrelevant at this moment, right? It's only are they ring chasing for one more ring, or are they just hanging around and they might have one or two good games, but other than that, they're just going through the motions.
Yeah, I think they're just hanging around.
Yeah.
I think they're just hanging around. It'll be interesting to see how things shape up, but I
Hmm.
think we'll kind of leave it there.
Yeah.
But Jordan, pleasure as always having you on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This was a good conversation for sure. Enjoyed this one.
All right, until next time.
Until next time, my friends.